Hi traders, let's just start off with some leading indicators first, so just get a feel for this market. This is the nasdaq on the daily chart on the right, the weekly on the left. The weekly just held up nicely, and the daily also held up nicely, just a slightly weaker close. Look at this 8 EMA on the daily. We're above it. We tested it on Friday and we held. So, I mean, a chart that holds an 8 EMA is a bullish chart. We've got R3 up here. One trading day left in September, and non-farm payroll on Friday expected to be positive, showing an increase in employment in the US. So I would classify these markets as bullish. The Dow is weak. The Dow is definitely creating a drag. On the weekly chart, we've just come back down to the 8 EMA. I still think we might drift down to this monthly pivot here. It's a lower close, but we held the 50 EMA. Can't close above the 8. So just as the Nasdaq is closing above the 8, this can't close. This is closing under the 8. So I think we'll see some drifting, possibly lower in the early part of the week, and possibly a lift up from here, and who knows, maybe even breaking that resistance up there on Friday. Right, let's start with Forex. As for trading it, I wouldn't enter this market at the moment. I'd at least get Monday out of the way, and then let's start to see if we can come down. If we come down here and we see a reversal bar, then I would be a buyer. On Monday, if we start closing above this 15,400, I will buy pullbacks and then try and ride it into the week. So these are the price levels I'm looking at the moment. I'm looking at the highs from Thursday. I'm looking at this monthly pivot down here. Stochastics and RSI to me suggest that we could come lower. You can see we've had divergent RSI on the weekly. When we made a high up here, we were a lower high on the RSI. Okay, so looking for short-term weakness in the early part of the week, but strength as we're coming out the back of the end of the week. Let's stick with commodities first. Gold is, the weekly can't close above the 8, so there is a higher close, and we have closed above the 8 on the daily. I don't like all this congestion above. I think there's a lot of resistance up there, so I'm steering clear. And the oil, seasonally, it's just coming under a lot of pressure. We came up and touched the 8 and the 100 and sold off on Friday. You can see we've got decent support here. We closed under the 8 in the weekly, but above the 20. I would suggest we could test 104, 105, and then come down here. The fact we're holding this, if we move sideways and start to close above 103.50, then intraday I would look to go back to 105, but generally not interested in this market at the moment. Again, I would get interested if we had a decent close on Monday. What I am interested in is commodities, and let's just go to that now. No, I'm sorry, I'm going to stick with Forex. Let's get Forex out of the way, and I want to show you some amazing charts in the commodities, which I think are really on the turn here. Pound US dollar. This dollar is showing no signs of strength at the moment. The US dollar Swissy and the US dollar CAD are weak to sideways. Whereas the pound is looking as if we could touch the 2013 high, which was on the last trading day of last year. The 2012 high was up there. The 2013 open. Sorry, I'm looking at weekly, aren't I? Go right back to January for a second. Yeah, that was the first day of trading. We had a reversal bar. We slammed into 163.86 and sold off right into March until we put a hammer in and then moved up into May. We came down in the end of May, right up there, middle of June, which happens to be triple witching. We sold off after triple witching, right back down to July. We moved into resistance in late July, found support in early August, and then started moving up here. So we got triple witching well and truly out of the way. The pound held this trend line, it held the daily 8, and here we are. We are closed on a new high for the week. So I would like to buy this R2 level here at 160, 50, 60 area. Okay, ideally I would even like to see any cuts of drop to 160. I don't think we're going to get it. I would be a big buyer of 160 if we saw it. We are somewhat high. High RSI, stochastic is high, and on the weekly we are also, the RSI is not extended, but we are high. Okay, so a very bullish pound, and I would look to buy that pullback. I hope at least one or two of you got this pound Aussie dollar, because this has been amazing. Beautiful chart, hammer on the 50 EMA. This was a massive trend line as well, and we retested the hammer. I called this, bought it myself, and here we are right up here at 173.20. That I would love to see that at 171.75. That will be a terrific pullback to add to my position. A lot of resistance up here just ahead of us at 174, 175, but that is a great chart. Let's go to the Euro US. You can see on this weekly, bit of a hangman up there on the weekly. We're some distance away from the weekly 8. We held the daily 8 all week, came down and tested it after the Fed move. 8 EMA held all week, and here we are closing slightly higher. It's a big topping tail. We slammed into R2 on Friday and sold off. Now with that hangman bar, I would expect to see some early weakness. 134.22, we could still drop all the way down to here in the early part of the week, and this will be a good place to buy. I would definitely consider buying here if we drop down here and held. We've got the debt ceiling in the US talks to get out of the way as well. So the early part of the week could be a little rocky. Euro yen is very interesting as well. I think that the Euro yen could come all the way down to this 132, possibly even lower to retest the 50 EMA. I would be a buyer if we held the 50 EMA. We've now closed under this. We did hold this support on Thursday. We closed underneath it on Friday. So I would look. This is shortable. You could short that at 133.20 with a stop above 134. But I am personally going to wait for that pullback and see if we get a nice pullback for a long entry. The pound yen sitting on a little hammer on this pivot here, but look at the gap to the weekly 8. We held the daily 8 just, but only on a retest of this reversal bar up here. So I think we may see further pullbacks in the yen pairs. US dollar yen. I would love to see that at 96.40. A very weak close. We've bridged the 50 and 100 EMA, with the monthly pivot just under there. So yeah, not great charts at the moment, apart from that pound Aussie dollar. Let's have a look at the Aussie US. We've got rate decisions on the Aussie US on Tuesday. That looks as if that could come down and test the daily 50 as well. Sorry, daily 100. This is the 50 up here. Let me just make absolutely sure that that's the 100 up there. That's the 50 down there. Yeah, okay, so we closed under the 100. If we close back above that again, then I would consider buying that. In the meantime, look at this congestion up here, 97. Closed under the weekly 8. We've got the weekly 20 down there, 92.50 area. So I would look for that to drop and buy that. Okay, let's now go to, so just to sum up, I like the pound Aussie dollar, I like the pound US dollar on pullbacks, and looking to see where the indices can move in the first part of the week. Right, let's go to commodities and then stocks. Right, slightly different charts, but same setup. Daily on the right, weekly on the left. And that is the nasdaq chart. You can see just holding up here and doing okay. Right, now I think these commodity charts are amazing, fantastic opportunities. I'm looking for coffee to base here. RSI is low, stochastics is low. A weak close on Friday, but if we start closing above 115, I'm a buyer of coffee to see if that can start to creep back to this 131. This fibs, by the way, is on the monthly chart. So I think if we could start to turn here, I think we could see a big jump to 133. Copper, good indication of confidence in the market. Copper being influenced by house builds, and you can see copper is doing well. I'm not a buyer of copper, although I do think that 33.10 could see that break up, but I think it's a better chart. That is viable. I'm personally not going to go for that because I think there's better charts out there, but I do think that is on the way up. Corn, I think the little holding bar on a key trend line here, I think that's a stopping bar. If we start to close above 457, I'll be a buyer of corn. The beans are better. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a key monthly pivot here. Trend line coming across. I think this could hold and see us go back to 14 or 15 on the beams. So I would just give it another day just to see if it can hold up. And cotton is going crazy. I think cotton's about to make a big move. This is a lot of resistance here, but I love that daily chart. I'm a buyer at 85. I'm going to hold out for 85. But I think that is due for recovery. And beans we've talked about. Right, stocks. Let's look at UK stocks first. Let's look at the stalwarts. The Barclays is still weak, although I'm still on the hunt for that one. I think we may find a base at this price and then start to move up, so I'm watching. BP is still dead as a dodo, dead to weak. BT is very strong. I think that's going to 400. If you look at the monthly chart, I think that's going to 400. Here's the monthly chart. There's the trend line, and I think 400 is a good target on that one. So a pullback of 344 could be a good place to get in. Centrica obviously got hit by political noises last week. And what are my UK stocks? Market Benkaiser, nope. RBS, no. I would consider buying that down here at 340. If we see 340 on RBS, I would be a buyer. Standard Chartered, nope, not doing it. So there's decent trendline support under there. I would just give that more time. SSE really fell out the sky last week. That is a stopping bar, decent support, but I am personally steering clear for that for now. Tesco's got a beating on a downgrade. I would wait until I think we've got results coming out. I would wait for that one. Let's look at. Let's keep an eye on this one, Bow 11. It's really flat, not doing anything. Okay. Bear with me. Sorry, I'm more prepared on the US than I am on the UK stocks here at the moment. More. Nice weekly. That's looking 12.35, messy daily. If that comes down to 12.33 and holds, I'll be a buyer of Admiral. What was I looking for? 12.35. And the Greco I've been watching. Now that lovely weekly. It keeps holding this trendline support, and that's a big two decent moves on Friday. Look as if we could get a hammer on the weekly. So I would be a buyer of 15.95 on the Greco. Domino's gone. I think this one is good. FERS. That is a hammer on Friday. That closes above 10.12 on Monday. I'd be a buyer of FRES. And here's Domino Pizza. Hammer on the weekly. Not too put off by that topping tail on. It is actually a reversal bar under the 50 EMA. But I think we will possibly come back and we may even retest 580, but I think at that stage I think we will recover. Cyclical stock, and this is the good time of year to buy this. Look at G4S, been in the news a lot. Not bad. Hargreaves coming off. Got very extended up there. Right, let's look at the US stocks. Like Google. Weekly is weak. Look at the way the daily's got a hammer. I think that could break 877 and start to attack 925. I like PEP. I think it's a massive support down here at 79.60. So we may just do a drop to 79.60 area, but otherwise I think that's good. I think this is a cup. I think we're getting a handle. For the handle, obviously we need to start closing above 80 or 81. But I think that is looking good. I like Home Depot. Like this one. Like to see, I'd be a buyer of 75.80 to see if that can start to move up back to the highs. Goldman Sachs. Bit beaten up. I'm going to put alarm out for 158, just underneath where we are now. I think that could be a goer. CELG. I think this is a brilliant one. That is got to be a buy at 150, 150.50 on CLG. Nice move up, and that's it. Okay, so I hope that helps, and see you on Monday's conference call, previously called Traders Roundtable. Okay.